Welcome back, guys. It's a beautiful day out here. I hope you're having a beautiful day. So I thought I'd come out here and make a YouTube video and talk about one of the toughest parts of anxiety. I mean, there's a lot of different things, obviously, with the panic attacks, anxiety attacks, the crippling symptoms, the loneliness and everything. But one of the hardest decisions that you're going to have to make is what I want to discuss today. And it's how we ultimately recover. It's how I ultimately recovered. And maybe there's some of you that are watching that come back every once in a while and you've recovered and you had to go through this. Simple concept, not the easiest thing to execute. And I think this is why this can drag on for years, right? But you know what time it is, guys. Smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt today. The question of the day, I want you to go down below in the comment section and let us know, how many years have you been dealing with anxiety? I know a lot of you have been dealing with it for a very long time, some of you most of your life, but I know some of you guys are new. If it's just been a few weeks or a few months, let us know down below. You're not alone in this fight. And you'll see that there's been some people that have dealt with this for a very, very long time. Me personally, from the moment I got diagnosed to my recovery, I guesstimate that it was about 5 years, really 5 tough years. And I could argue that I possibly had anxiety disorder years before that. But if we're going from my diagnosis to my recovery, it was about 5 years. That's a long time. You know, it's a long time. But yeah, let's talk about this, guys. One of the hardest things to execute is really letting go of control. And when are we going to do that? You know, and I think health anxiety is really tough when it comes to this. And a lot of you that watch me have health anxiety. But I mean, it's hard for any form of anxiety, is just letting go of control, not having to do something to try to make your symptoms go away, not having to get up from, you know, your seat and pace around or go through all your other anxiety behaviors. That's hard as well. So I'm not trying to diminish any other anxiety disorder. It's just, I think health anxiety really paints this picture perfectly. Like, when do I stop going to the doctors? When do I stop seeking test results? When do I stop going to the ER? When do I stop worrying about these symptoms and just let them go? Because we really, really do feel like we are taking a risk in doing that. You know, what you're trying to do is protect yourself, you know, and you do that through Googling, checking your vitals, going to the hospital anytime you feel something. But I'm here to tell you, like, if you are going to fully recover, at some point you have to make the decision to let go and to move on from that. The problem is, I can't tell you on a personal level when to do it. Okay, that's the hardest thing. You have to make that decision for yourself. Now, there's tons of things that I teach that help you along the way. And I'm telling you that is something that you're going to have to do at some point if this is anxiety that's causing you what you're going through. But it's a personal decision. It's a personal decision. I had to make quite a few of those decisions along the path. You may have to make this multiple times. For a lot of us, we go through different cycles. So, I mean, I had to make this decision whenever I wanted to let go of my heart fears, you know. I got tested out a few times. You know, I've been to the doctor a lot. I've gone to the ER a lot. I've survived so many heart attacks. And, you know, a big way of me letting go was, shoot, F it. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to run. You know, if I'm worried right now, but I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to run. And I guess if I die, I die. And I know people don't like to hear that. And that's why some of you have avoided exercise like I did for years. Now, again, I'm not telling you on a personal, I'm not feeling what you're feeling right now in this moment. I don't know. I'm not in your body, right? So I can't tell you when to go and when to not go. And I make sure whenever I'm talking to somebody on the phone that, you know, I address that. I can't and I won't tell you when to not go to the doctor. That part is a personal decision that you have to come up with, right? Or you have to face that part yourself. And I think that's the hardest thing. That's what makes it very, very tough to get past health anxiety, because we really do feel like we are taking a risk and we're risking our life by not going to the ER whenever we feel something, not getting tested out whenever we have some stomach issues, right? And it gets confusing. That's another hard aspect to this whole thing. Like, what's anxiety, what's not, you know, because I can argue that quite a few of my cycles started from something that wasn't anxiety, but my anxiety took over, mimicked it, and exaggerated it. So once I got past the heart stuff and I finally let go of that and I ran and exercised and I was finally like able to just move on and accept, okay, there's nothing wrong with your heart. You would have died if that was the case. And that's scary. We have to go through those different moments where we have to basically say, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. It sucks to have to go through that. You know, it's a lot. It's hard. But I thought I was done, you know, and then I had a little bit of a stomach issue in my lower right side. You know, I've mentioned it on this channel quite a few times, and then my stomach started to hurt. And I went through that for 3 months before I finally was able to let that go, you know. But that was started just, I don't even think it was anxiety. I mean, sure, I was still in a hypersensitive state, and that can linger after we get past and we know that. So you can feel things a lot more than somebody that doesn't have anxiety, even for quite some time after you accept and try to move on and let go of control from a cycle that you've been in. So I think I still had some hypersensitivity that made this situation more noticeable, but I just had a dull ache, you know, in my lower right stomach, and it could have been something I ate. I had on and off issues with IBS, you know, for a lot of my, you know, childhood and adulthood at that time. So it probably was something like that. I don't even think anxiety, I wasn't anxious when it started or anything. But guess what? I focused on it, got worse, and, you know, it was there every single day. You know, my mind was like, okay, that's a problem. It's going to send signals to that area and give me a dull ache right there in the lower right part of my stomach. Finally made an appointment, and then just me making an appointment was enough for me to let go of control. And guess what? Within a few hours of making that appointment, the pain went away. I never even had to go to the doctor to go get it checked out. It never came back. So it's wild. And I would go to another cycle and another cycle and another cycle. So I had to let go of control and, you know, risk my life many, many times. And it basically, you know, we've heard of the F it moment, you know, it's kind of what it is. Like, I'm letting go of control. We almost have to be okay with there being a tiny, tiny risk that we were misdiagnosed or that there could be something going on. You know, and then I've talked about this a few times on the channel, and I'll mention it again. Something that helped me with this process is I created a rule system. Again, I can't create rules for you, but I can speak from my experience. Maybe it can give you some ideas. You know, am I bleeding? Am I vomiting? Am I really, really sick to my stomach? Am I having constant, or is there blood in my stool? You know, am I coughing up blood? You know, is it to the point to where I feel like I can't get out of bed? Am I fatigued that much? Do I have a fever? And then something else I would do, I would compare it to some of the other actual situations that I had in, you know, the earlier part of my life where I did have to go to the doctor, you know, like abscessed teeth, horrible ear infections, a broken arm, bruised ribs. Like, I would go through all these things. Times that I had COVID, I was like, do I feel anywhere near any of those things? No. Okay. So I'm going to use that to kind of let me know, like, if it gets more serious, you know, I'll know, and I'll go to the doctor, and I'll get checked out. I'm not going to do some of the old behaviors that I would exhibit. I'm not going to sit here and focus on it, send a lot of negative energy. I'm not going to research in Google, and I'm going to give it a few days or maybe a week. And if it's there and I'm doing all the right stuff and I'm not exhibiting all the old, you know, or doing the old things that I used to do that would get me in trouble, and it's still there, then I'll go get checked out. Okay, and that's what I would do, you know. Well, I would do this after my real recovery, but I would fall back into that trap for years. That's why it lasted for 5 years. But that's it, guys. The hardest thing is letting go of control in the end and deciding, when am I not going to go back to get tested? When am I not going to go back to the ER? When am I not going to go back to the doctor's office? When am I going to stop running from these symptoms? When am I going to stop having to go take a cold shower every time I feel anything? When am I going to just sit there and not pull over? You know, when am I going to just drive and just go, you know, get to where I need to go without having to pull over or jump on the phone with a friend? Or, you know, when are you just going to fully let go and let things be there and not run from them anymore? So hopefully this video made sense to you guys. I know it doesn't necessarily help you with the process, but I just want you to know that, like, that is something that you are going to have to do if you are going to recover from anxiety, and if anxiety is what's causing these symptoms. I'm not your doctor, and I'm not trying to play your doctor. But basically, you'll get to a point where you're just tired of it, and you look back and you realize, like, look, I'm never told that I'm sick. I never get diagnosed with anything. I thought I've had a million different things, and I never have, you know, gotten that diagnosis. And I've been dealing with this for years, and I'm tired of struggling with it. It's not worth it to me. I don't want to go through this another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I don't want to actually get sick one day and then regret the previous 50 years because I've just worried about this day for 50 years. And I felt like I wasn't present. I didn't get to, enjoy my life, and I didn't get to do things that I wanted to do. And I let anxiety just ruled over me. And I ended up with a disease I never even feared. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to regret. And something else that helped me with letting go of control was looking at my past and realizing none of these things that I think that are going to happen have happened. And anytime I've actually really gotten sick or something has happened, I have known, and I've gone and got help for it, whether it be needing antibiotics or needing to go to the dentist or whatever it is. If there's something like serious going on, like I have to trust that I'm going to know. I have to trust that. But again, it gets confusing, and clouded and gray whenever it has to do with anxiety, because what's anxiety, what's not. But I can't tell you when to stop going. That's the thing. I can't say, stop going to the doctor today, and that's the message I want all you guys to hear. I don't want to say that. That's reckless. It's not smart. I'm just here to say you have to make that decision at some point, and you have to collectively get all your evidence, look at your past, make a list of all the things that you thought you've had, come up with a rule system that's really going to help you with this process. The rule system's great. Have some rules for yourself. I know even that can be gray, but I asked myself all those questions that I mentioned. You can go back and go to that part of the video if you want to come up with some ideas. But and I'm not going to exhibit or play into any of my old behaviors. I'm not going to Google. I'm not going to focus, and I'm just going to let go. And then if it's still a problem and I'm doing all the right stuff for a while, I'll go get checked out. And I just got to trust myself that if it's serious, I'm going to know, I'm going to get help and get treatment for it. So letting go, guys. Letting go is the hardest part. There's many different forms of it. Like I said, it doesn't have to just be about health anxiety. Letting go for some of you is just like not pulling over on the side of the road when you have, an anxiety attack or something, or it's, not having to, go through some of those behaviors that you go through whenever you feel anxious. For some of you, it's not having to hurry up and get up off the couch if you feel anxious and you're trying to watch a movie with your family. For some of you, it's not avoiding things. So it's just, in a broad spectrum, when it comes to anxiety recovery, the way that you recover is letting go. And for some of you, you could label that as like your F it moment, like F this, like I'm tired of not living. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of anxiety pushing me around. And nothing has actually happened that I've worried about. Nothing, So hopefully this video made sense to some of you. So I guess a good affirmation that we can put down below in the comment section. If you made it this far, go down in the comment section, and in all caps, I want you to put, I will let go of control. I will let go of control. And you know what areas you need to let go of control in, you, right? So try to work on that. It is the answer to recovery, right? That's what we have to do at some point or another. If you want more help with your recovery process, I do have a course, ELITE Anxiety Bootcamp. That's going to be down below in the description and in the first pinned comment. It's helping a lot of people that need that guidance, that need that step-by-step process, that need a game plan, that need a routine, that need structure, foundation, the perspective changes, the mindsets that you need to recover from anxiety. All of that is in that course. Check it out. It's what I did to get out of panic disorder, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder, obviously. So check that out. Please like this video, guys, if you got value, and subscribe if you're new. Tons of videos like this. And until next time, guys, keep fighting.